I thought it would be a fun idea to take a completely new account to max level, but I switched to a new mythical fruit every sea. But before I can even start grinding, let's see what our first sea mythical will be. To get my first mythical I rolled from the gacha. I kept rolling, and by roll number 28 the best I got was a magma. My first legendary fruit was on roll number 41. A few rolls later at number 45 I got another legendary. Phoenix. Wow, definitely worth 45 rolls. I was also counting fruit detectors, so on fruit number 57 I got another legendary. Got Quake on 61. And finally on roll number 69. Another spider on number 80. So after 88 rolls I gave up, but next I will show you how I determined the random mythical fruit. I put every single mythical fruit into a random name wheel, and whatever I got on this spin I would use until the second sea. Sorry if that hurt your eyes, but as you can see here I'm dressed up as Caesar Clown from One Piece. And as you saw earlier I got gas, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy perm gas. Here's a gas M1 showcase. Anyways, yeah, I'ma start grinding. SSS Psych. Cut. That's enough. Stop this madness. Now that I'm level 90 I can go to the frozen village to get abilities, and also I'm really close to my second ability traveling gas, although it's a little useless. The new mythical gas fruit is actually one of the best fruits right now for grinding because of its high AoE attacks and transformation, although we aren't at that part yet. Anyways, I unlocked the second move, so here's what it looks like. Before I got abilities I had to get the money to buy everything, which was $135,000. With that quest just now I got enough money. Anyway, what gas M1s do is basically center them wherever you move your screen. It's really good for grinding both bosses and NPCs. The F move does a little damage and causes a little explosion when you go through them. Lastly, the Z move dashes forward, summoning some flames, and if they're close enough to the target you slash and dash through them with the sword from the normals M1s. With level 120 I could now go to the Marine Fortress. I'm killing the Vice Admiral in this clip, and he gives a ton of levels for his level requirement, which is 130. As you can see I just got 6 from one boss. I boss hopped the Vice Admiral until level 150, which is the requirement to go to the Sky Islands. The Sky Islands is also where I unlocked my third move, Bursting Vapor. For the X move Bursting Vapor you summon a couple rings of gas, then the target gets trapped and swirls around in the rings dealing tick damage, and eventually the rings combust into an explosion dealing a decent chunk of damage. Because I didn't get the code drop from the Vice Admiral, I decided to go back to Marine Fortress to buy the Black Cape. The Black Cape gives 5% damage buff on every attack, plus an extra 100 health and energy. It's very cheap for how good it is, being only $50,000 and an excellent starter accessory. The next island prison requires level 190, and I was already pretty close, so I just boss hopped Vice Admiral until I got level 190. Prison's bosses give a ton of experience, and there are 3 all in one place, so it's one of the best places for leveling up. In this clip I'm killing both the Chief Warden and the normal Warden at the same exact time, giving almost double experience. I also grinded past Coliseum, completely skipping to Undi level 300, which is Magma Village. I speedrun the next few islands until I did enough quests for $750,000 to start the saber puzzle and buy instinct. Gonna skip all the quest because you've probably seen other people do it a bunch already, although if you do want a full guide go check out my last video. Anyways, my mastery is progressing very slowly and I want y'all to see the full transformation before I move on to the next fruit, so I'm gonna buy the X2 Mastery Game Pass. I'm now boss hopping Fishman Lord, and like any other boss, especially in the first seed, he gives a lot of experience. I'm also close to my 4th move, Smog Demons. Anyways, I just reached level 450, so it's time to go to Upper Skylands. After a few quests I got my C move. What Smog Demon basically does is summon a bunch of demon-like figures that have gas-like aura and launch them into your target, dealing a heavy amount of damage plus tick damage over time. Its launch speed is really fast, allowing for a quick damage move without any end lag. Grinding became much easier and I finished the entire Upper Sky Islands fast. Alright, anyways, I reached level 700 but decided to boss hop Cyborg a little more for cool shades. I didn't get it, but I did get 300 mastery on gas, although it is the end of the first sea, which means I have to switch to a different mythical and get rid of gas. However, because I didn't use the transformation, I will use it later in the vid for grinding, so stay tuned. Here's the transformation I unlocked though. Kinda looks like a knight, so I guess a gas knight. My double experience code ended, so I stopped boss hopping. And now I can kill the Ice Admiral to go to the second sea. I'm now in the second sea, which means it's time to spin for a different mythical to use all the way up till the third sea. Dough is a decently good fruit for grinding when awakened, so I'm happy with that. Since I'm in the second sea now, I traded myself the dough instead of wasting Robux. Before I eat the dough and start grinding, however, I had to get drippy. I'll show you what I mean. Now that I'm Sigma Katakuri, I can eat dough and complete the build. Also, I don't know why I'm so white, but I'll fix that in a sec. So how this will work is I'm gonna awaken a move every 50 levels. I'm gonna awaken my Z move right now, and when I reach level 750 I'll awaken my next move, and when I reach level 800 my F move. I know I'm already level 720, but just go with it. Also, I fixed my avatar, it no longer has civil rights, but it's okay. By the way, I'll explain some things real quick. So basically I'm carrying myself on my phone, and my strat is to go in the water and camp there until the first island is cleared, then go on the first island. The reason I can do this is because I spawned with Shark Race at the beginning of this challenge, though I still take damage because my shark isn't B2 yet. My first awaken turns my first ability Fried Dough into Missile Jab. For this awakened move you summon a huge blob of dough and it causes a huge explosion of sticky gooey dough wherever it lands. When you release the move it sends you backwards, and you can also hold it for a bigger explosion, sending you backwards even more. Anyways, I'm gonna start getting some mastery on this fruit. By the way, the reason I'm suffering an awakening only every 50 levels is for y'all to see the unawakened version of the moves too. Got my next attack move, Sticky Dough. What it does is basically attach a rope to the enemy and flings then slams them across wherever your avatar is facing. In this clip I just reached level 750, so that means it's time to awaken my second move, Roller Donut. Roller Donut in its unawakened form is literally just rolling as a donut, and it can't even go on water, so it's almost useless. Anyways, my eternal beef with fragments is still alive, so that means I need to buy a little with Robux, though since I'm broke I'm still gonna do raids later for frags, but this is a special occasion. The donut in rolling form now has spikes on it, and I think it's a little thicker. It can now also roll on water, and the spikes do a tiny bit of damage when you pass through an enemy. The spikes do a lot of knockback, so it's not really effective for grinding. After a few quests I also got 200 mastery, which unlocks my 4th move, Card Dough. Carved dough turns you into a roller donut form, and when you pass through an enemy it launches you up, then turns your hand into a black spiky ball and slams down on the target. If the slam AoE attack hits, then they also get launched up. In this clip I'm on my main account doing raids for my other account on my phone, because you need 3000 fragments for the third awakened move on dough. After doing a few raids I went back to grinding and got level 800 to awaken my third move. A lot of raids I do for frags I don't record, so keep that in mind. I'm not buying frags with Robux. Sticky dough turns into pastry river, and the move now has two forms. First I'll show you the ground form. The ground form of pastry river summons what looks like a sprout of dough, bringing the target upwards with the move, and when the sprout goes down the target is plunged down, flinging the targets. Now I'll show you the air form. Basically wherever you aim it you reach out a stick of dough, and if the target is in range they get comboed and predicted by small donuts with sticks in them. I also just reached level 850, so I'm gonna go awaken my fourth move. But first I had to do some raids for fragments. Anyways, the starting form has spikes like scorching donut, and it just looks a lot different. I don't even want to explain it, just see for yourself. Before I play the grinding clips I'm gonna do Bartolio's quest. The move is now called piercing clothesline, and when you run into the enemy it picks them up, then swings them around, picking up anyone that's caught in the swings, then smashes them down, bringing the user and debris around up from the force put into the smash. I finished the 50 swan pirates, so now I need to kill Jeremy. And lastly, free the prisoners. Doing Bartolio's quest also gives me access to the alchemist's quests. I need to collect 3 flowers to upgrade to the V2 of Shark. For the yellow flower I did swan pirate quests until I got getting a few levels in the process. The blue flower was at graveyard and the red flower was next to a red building in Kingdom of Rose. I bought Shark V2 for $500,000 and now I can't take damage from water. I also boss hopped Jeremy a few times to get the black spiky coat because I don't want to level up the whole time using a first C accessory. By the way, I unlocked my final move, Restless Dough Barrage, as you can see. The move summons a ton of donuts with orifices going out of them. And after a few tries, I got the black spiky coat, which is basically just to upgrade the black coat I currently have, giving more health, energy and a bigger damage buff. Here are the exact stats. That Jeremy boss also got me to level 900, which means it's time to awaken my next move, or should I say unlock, because we get a new M1 attack. First I did some raids for fragments. For the M1 you summon a donut that drips white sticky substances and that attacks with orifices like in my Dough Barrage move. It also has longer reach when you hold it, and it has a cooldown of roughly 1 to 2 seconds. Anyways, I'm gonna purchase some double experience and start grinding till level 950 for my next awakening. Now I can finally fully awaken dough, but not without any fragments, so I had to do raids. And now finally. Dough Fist Fusillade is literally the same move with thicker tips. It does do a lot more damage though. Anyways, I reached level 1000, which means I can do the quest for race V3. But first I had to kill Doflamingo, and to do that I need to give Trevor a 1 mil fruit. Doflamingo also gives access to the third C, so I need to do this anyway. And now I can start the race V3 quest. The quest for Shark V3 is to kill a sea beast, and I obviously can't do that at level 1000, so I'm gonna help myself a bit on my main account. Bruh. But this was just one time, it won't happen again. Okay, it did take me 3 tries, but it wasn't really my fault. Basically I had to deal enough damage and die for my main to finish him off. And now I could buy it. Shark V3's water body gives you 80% resistance to all damage for a few seconds, and I don't think I need to explain why it's good. I've basically done everything there is for this vid in the second C, so I'm sure you don't want to just watch me grind for 500 levels. So let's do some counting. and 1500. Now it's time to go to the 3rd sea and start grinding with a new mythical. But first I need to help King Redhead kill Rip_Indra. It's pretty easy, but now time for the epic cutscene. That was so cool. Anyways, I'm gonna go talk to Sigma Captain and have him take me to 3rd sea. I have another 1100 levels to go, but first my fruit for those levels. Shadow is decent for grinding, but only because of its V-move unlocked at 300 mastery, so this will be hella painful until I get the V-move. Also, I know y'all are gonna get bored of Shadow soon enough, so I will switch to another mythical when I get the chance. The first Z move turns you into a ball of shadow and you travel pretty fast in this line of shadow. Anyway, it's pretty bad for grinding because it's single target. I didn't have enough Robux for Gecko Moria, so this is what you get instead. Low-key better. I turned him white for some basic human rights.
Better get out of my face.
Anyways, I'm gonna start grinding. The Z move does okay damage and is single target, so it's horrible for grinding. Anyway, my next move, Umbrage, is an AoE flying attack that lasts for 10 seconds, and while that may seem really good, I fly so slowly that the pirates can hit me while flying, canceling the ability. I just unlocked my X move, and what it does is basically... Yeah, I'm not explaining it, bro, read this. The user shoots a swarm of bats towards the cursor. Upon surface contact, the swarm will explode, dealing damage and sending a few small bats, which will then fly to a nearby enemy and damage them. The bats have slight auto aim and will attempt to fly towards the target if close enough. Note: multiple bats can attack the same target. I'm Buddha, unlock my 4th move, Nightmare Leech, and I'll explain it this time. So basically you dash forward and cling onto your enemy, grabbing them and sucking them out like your Playboy card, giving you around 20% of your HP. You also punch them or something at the end and deal a little knockback. In this clip I get a heal from the C move. My plan from now is get to level 1550 like I just did and boss hop Stone for his pilot helmet because I don't want to stick to a second C accessory. Also, he gives a lot of mastery, so that makes even more reason to hop him. Unlike the 4th try I got the accessory, but I'm gonna keep hopping him to get 300 mastery fast. By the way, pilot helmet gives plus 130% movement speed, a little extra 10% health regen, and also 250 health and energy on the side. Also, I just reached level 1575, so I'm gonna go to Hydra Island. My V move looks like this and does a ton of damage. It honestly is one of the best moves grinding. So basically the move's damage depends on how far your Umbra meter is filled up, obviously dealing more when it is all the way up. You basically release an area of shadow and bats, dealing huge AoE explosion damage and then stunning plus dealing constant poison damage to whoever is inside the area. It's really good paired with the Umbrage F move because it's hard for them to attack while being semi-stunned. Anyways, I decided that I would switch off Shadow and roll a new random mythical fruit after I get off Hydra Island. I reached level 1675, which means I can now boss hop the Hydra boss person. I did reach 1700, but I wanted to hop a little more, so I'll spin the wheel after a few more bosses. Okay, I'm finna give some context here. I rolled Leopard, but I was not about to use Leopard for grinding, and this is like the only time I skipped a spin, so forgive me please. Yeti. Wow, I'm so excited to use this for grinding.
What is that?
Excuse me.
The fruit was doo-doo butt, but it does get better after transformation. In this clip I reached 1775 while reaching transformation mastery at the same time, so that meant I was gonna use transformation and floating turtle for grinding. The M1s of this move consist of striking with your claws and stomping with your feet in a roar on the last M1, similar to Leopard. Anyways, this fruit made my game so laggy I had to turn on fast mode. The Snowball X move is just a bigger snowball, bigger explosion, no explanation. Arctic Clap. The Z move launches a similar attack with bigger spikes and bigger AoE. It looks and is really similar to the Ice X move. This fruit plus pilot helmet also gave me insane speed while jumping like the Kitsune movement before the nerf. The F move is once again bigger everything, including bigger slams and a lot more ice involved. The strat for grinding for this fruit is basically don't even pay attention, just spam click, turn on instinct and spam all of your moves. Basically what I do in this clip here. Anyways, I ran out of double express, so I'm on my alt here about to gift myself some, although I'm low-key broke, so I probably will have to buy Robux again later. though I'm gonna claim these in the third seed to save a few minutes. I know y'all didn't see the C move yet, but it just does more damage and a lot more knockback. Anyways, I grinded past the reborn skeletons to level 2000 on accident, so I'm gonna grind the living zombies instead. Hey there. CC2 does not want to edit. So anyway, here's a montage. I promised I would use gas transformation, and I'm kinda bored of Yeti, so yeah, the rest of these 500 levels are gonna be with gas transformation. Now for the moveset explanation. The M1 consists of simple slashes with an explosion of gas at the last M1. The range on this is pretty insane, but its hit area is so small I can't even hit NPCs that are in front of me. The Z move Suffocating Fumes summons an area of gas, and it also slightly heals you. The X move summons a beam of gas that very quickly sweeps through to the left, dealing a bunch of explosion damage. I also read on the wiki that if the Z move is active it deals more damage. The C move is the exact same move with around like double the demons summoned. The F move consists of a dash and stab, knocking back the target. Consider subscribing, like the vid if you enjoyed, and comment down some of your ideas. I read every comment and I will likely read yours as well. Other than that, thank you so much for watching until the end.